Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me now. Sorry, playing around with the mute button there. Vanessa here from Envision, and a very warm welcome to everybody today for our September webinar. Launching one thing on one day is always quite a lot to do, but launching two things in one day is taking it to another level. And at Envision, we don't do anything by half. So today we're actually got something exciting to talk about from the Envision glasses aspects with a new edition being launched, and also on the Envision app. We've just opened up today an accessible QR code, which is a really, we hope, a game changer in terms of finding products and accessing information on them in your stores and at home. And with us today is Casper from Zappa, and Zappa is our partner who have developed this code. So let's, without further ado, just actually get into the program. And if I can ask Kartik to take me to the next slide, that would be great. So as well, I just mentioned, Kartik is also going to give us and break the news to us about this new edition of the Envision glasses and the QR code, the accessible QR code on the app. Then he's actually going to have an interview today with Casper Thika, hope I pronounced that correct, CEO of Zappa. Really interesting what they're doing and who they're working with. Some amazing household brands and consumer goods companies. I think Casper's also going to try and explain for us the differences between different QR codes and codes that we have, which will be good as well. And then we're going under the hood at Envision Labs with Kartik Kannan, our CTO, and he's got some exciting updates. He's also going to give us a little update on where you can meet us out on the road and in person over the next few months as well. And then as ever, we throw open the floor virtually to you all, and we want to hear from you and your questions and answers. So let's just run through a little bit of that housekeeping next in the next slide. As ever, we are recording this webinar, and it is actually being streamed live on YouTube as well now. So if there's anybody that's, for whatever reason, you're here with us on YouTube, welcome. It's just on the Envision YouTube channel, and it's there in the live part. We're also saying that we're going to do the questions and answers at the end of the session. So please use the tools that we have. So I'm just going to recap those, and we do this every time, but just to make sure that we've got the shortcuts right. So if you're using, and joining us here from Zoom, please unmute yourself when you're ready to talk, and keep your questions short and to the point. And then if you're using yourself on Windows here, you're using Alt-A is the shortcut to do that. And then on Macs, it's Command-Shift and A as well. And then if you're putting up your hand and to raise your hand, do that as well, by all means, in the Q&A. And that's on the Mac is Option plus Y, and then on Windows, Alt plus Y. So you can raise your hand. That would be great. And on YouTube, just use the chat function there. Myself and the team will be in there and answering questions as quickly as we can. And we never get to all of them. Our apologies in advance, but we will do our very best. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kartik to share the good news with us today about what's going on with the glasses and on the app. Thanks, Kartik.
All right, Vanessa. Appreciate the introduction, and good to have you back. The beginning of the thing, I think there were people in the audience who were missing your voice in the previous webinars that we did. Though Vicky was amazing as always, who's also with us in the community at the moment. So let me start with a few things that we're very excited to announce. There's always a lot brewing at Envision, and there's so much excitement. And every time we're out talking to all of you, we sometimes I wish we can talk about everything that's brewing, but I think sometimes things are at different stages of the development, that it's not as easy for us to talk about stuff that's still in the pipeline. One of the things that we have been trying to do, in addition to all of the features and the development that's happening on the glasses, which the Karthik is going to talk about towards the end of the show, we also have been doing our best to make sure that these glasses can actually reach as many of users and customers out there as possible. And one of the ways we've been attempting to do that is sort of also innovate on the pricing and the business model aspect of these glasses. We did that in the beginning of the year when we actually introduced the different editions. So we had, instead of just a single price for a single pair of glasses, we actually broke it up. We had a Read edition, the Home edition, and the Professional edition, so that people who have different kinds of needs of these glasses and who have different sources of funding for these glasses, they can actually access these 3 different editions at 3 different price points. And the idea behind it was to make it more accessible. And now we've gone a step further, and now we're introducing a 4th edition of the Envision glasses, which is also the exact same hardware, but the innovation is on the business model and the pricing side. This is the edition that we're calling the subscription edition. What this means is that any of you out there who have been on the fence about getting a pair of these glasses, or who have been unable to make the commitment of like the price point at which these glasses are, this is an easy way for you to start using the glasses right away. The way it works is you go to the Envision's website, and now you will be able to see an option for a fourth edition called the subscription edition. And when you click on that, you are asked to pay like a monthly subscription fee of $150. And just for $150 a month, you will get your shipped a new, or like a like new a pair of Envision the glasses that you can then start to like to use, and you can use it for as long as like you want to. As long as like you want to, you can be subscribed to this model. So you can be subscribed to it for as long as like you need it. If you need it for 3 months, but if you need it for 6 months, or if you are needed for a year, you can always have access to this device for as long as you want it. And the only thing you need to pay is a single fixed monthly subscription amount. There isn't a commitment of a minimum amount of like months. This is not an installment your plan, so it's not like you're paying any interest on this. There is no like commitment to complete the whole purchase of these glasses over a period of time. So in that way, it is very different from the buy now and like pay later options, or the installment payment options. This is a no commitment, a no hassle option, where you just start by paying $150 a month. And as long as you are subscribed to us on a monthly basis, you will be able to you have access to these glasses. We are starting this as a pilot to see how the pickup is, and the pilot is only in the US as of now. So these glasses, starting today, are available to any of our customers in the US who can go to our website and start the purchase right away. And we are shipping these glasses out very, very quickly as well. So if you order it right away, we will make sure that these glasses are at your doorsteps in under a week's time. Sometimes even the next day, if you are at a region that's close to a distribution center of ours. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for anybody who just wants to give it a go without the commitment and without the hassle of getting the funds together for it. Just start a subscription today at $150 a month, and I use it for a while, and allow us to just like show you how exemplary of a service that Envision Teams offers you, both in terms of onboarding you onto these classes, but also any sort of updates that we do push to it. You will still have access to all of that. So I think that subscription edition is like the latest edition in a lineup of Envision classes that we have. And I am super excited for all of you to be able to give it a go starting right now. There is a blog post that is on the website that we will also be sharing on our socials. It will also be a part of our newsletters that we will be sending out in the end of this month, which will have all the details that you would actually want to know about these editions before you make a purchase. There is also very extensive like help center that actually answers all the questions. You are also at any point you can send a message to our support team who are ready to assist you with any of the doubts or questions that you might have about these. But essentially, starting today, if you go to let'senvision.com, you will be able to start making a purchase of the subscription edition of the Envision glasses. That's about a new innovation on the glasses front. But now let me go on to what's happening on the app front. And I am super stoked to announce something today, which is the accessible, like a QR scanner on the Envision glasses. This has been something that's in the works for a while. About a few months back, we got into contact by a company from the UK called Zappar. they have been developing this like a QR code technology, which like makes the QR code accessible. And we'll speak about exactly how with Casper, who is the founder and a CEO of Zapier, who's going to be like joining us in a minute. But this is a project that we've been working on, and we've just implemented this on the Envision app. So if you open up the Envision app, and if you're updated to the latest version that your like has been out, you will be able to see an option called Scan Accessible QR code. There are like products out there that actually have this accessible version of the QR code. They like look and function like any other QR code, but they have this additional like layer of information on it. The way it is helpful for you is that you can scan it from a distance, so you can just be standing up to your 120 your centimeters away from it, and it will still be able to detect the QR code. So one of the biggest issues that a lot of our users have been talking to about, like to us about with scanning a barcode or scanning a QR code is that it's often very, very difficult to do the positioning of the camera in front of the barcode. You're always right, especially in a products where it's very small. It's often you're sort of you're sort of like hidden under a fold. So scanning a barcode has always been a pain point when it's on a product. Well, the idea is that a QR code, which is accessible in nature, you can actually scan it from a distance away. And when you do it from like a large distance, it actually informs you what is the category of the product that you're trying to scan. And once you get close to it, it will not just be able to detect the QR code from a farther distance away. It'll actually offer you all the information that there is to know about the product in a very accessible, structured way, right? So it's not just speaking out the name of like the product, but it's actually giving you all the information that's on the packaging and more, right? So it'll give you, if there are cooking instructions on it, it'll offer you that. If there are ingredients on it, it'll offer you that. So any information that's associated with the product, that will be available on it. With that, let me invite like, like the Casper onto like the webinar, who is the co-founder and a CEO at Zapier, to talk to us a bit more about this technology that they have been able to develop.
Hey, Karthik,
Hi,
lovely
Casper.
to join you.
Thanks a lot. Could you maybe like very briefly just introduce both yourself and your company to our audience and talk to us a bit about like what is it that you do at Zappa?
Absolutely, yes. And may I just say, what a wonderful description you gave of accessible QR codes. You absolutely covered it all brilliantly there. So yes, my name is Casper Tiquier. Zappa's a business that's been going for coming up to 13 years now, and we are really focused on computer vision on mobile devices, and do a lot of work actually around augmented reality. But over the years, and because of the backgrounds of my fellow co-founders, Dr. Simon Taylor and Conor Gould, who are the brains behind the operation, really, we've done a lot of work around scanning codes in general. Indeed, Simon, who is our Chief R&D Officer, his PhD was around what was described as fast object recognition on handheld devices. So really trying to understand how you can see codes in the camera view when they're very, very small, detect them, scan them, and then deliver content. So it's something that's sort of been close to our hearts in terms of understanding how to create codes and make them deliver different sorts of information.
Got it. Amazing. And I think it'll be super helpful for our audience if you can very in a simple way break down what's a barcode, what's a QR code, what's the difference between them, and how does an accessible QR code differ from these two?
Absolutely, and well, this might take a little while to unpick, and I'm going to start right at the beginning. So forgive me as there are probably going to be a few acronyms here, which I'm hopefully going to explain. But I do think, as you say, it's really helpful to understand the context that brand owners are working with, and of course, why then the solution that we've come up with, ultimately needs to be a practical solution that can be scaled by these large organizations in order to make the biggest impact. So this comes down to understanding codes on packaging, and that starts with an organization called GS1. Now, these was one of those really important organizations that you've probably never heard of. I hadn't before I got into this whole area. And GS1 is a not-for-profit international organization that develops and maintains standards for codes that appear on the trillions of products and packages everywhere. And the best known of these standards is the barcode. And the barcode is represented by a series of black and white vertical bars of varying width that are used on products, that can be scanned electronically, say at the retail for checkout. And so this barcode is called a UPC, or a unique product code. And so what GS1 set is the global standard for these barcodes, providing what's called in the industry GTINs for businesses. Now, GTIN stands for a global trade item number. And they are used to uniquely identify all of a business's products, or SKUs as they're known. And so a SKU stands for a stock keeping unit. Like I said, there's a lot of acronyms here. So there's a classification of every single product in the world under the GS1 categorization system. And I think there are around 5,000 of those in total. And the most familiar GTIN are indeed the numbers that you find under a barcode. So the barcode is basically the programmatic visualization of the GTIN, which can then be read by scanners. And so they sit underneath the barcode. And until now, the barcode has been kind of the go-to visualization for these GTINs. However, a barcode can only carry a limited amount of data. And they also take up quite a lot of space on packaging. And with so much information to put on pack, that can be a problem for brands. So this is where QR codes come in. So QR stands for quick response, in case people didn't know that. And QR codes can carry multiple layers of data for different purposes. So they can carry more data than a barcode. And a QR code is basically an illustrative version of a URL, which stands for a uniform resource locator, or basically a web address is kind of what we know them as. And when the URL contains the GTIN, then it's intrinsically linked to the individual product or SKU, and that then becomes what's known as a GS1 digital link. Now, QR as a GS1 digital link has many, many benefits, all from scanning a single QR on pack, which then also takes up less space on the artwork than a barcode. So you basically get to a point where there's less surface area for your QR and more firepower, basically. And so this single sort of GS1 digital link QR is going to become a standard for how retailers and indeed consumers scan products. And it's going to become, really over the next 5 years, something that replaces our barcodes as they become sunsetted. So QR codes on pack become the easy way for consumers to interact with packaging, and the branding question as well as part of what they would describe as a connected pack strategy. So it can help with the supply chain management, for stock control, for product authentication. And I guess this is where our bit comes in. It can also help by enhancing QR codes to make what we describe as AQRs, accessible QR codes. And that means that we have the ability, as you rightly described, Kartik, to make product information more readily available to everyone, everywhere, whatever their visual acuity, and sort of to level the playing field really for access to product information. And so what we've done is we've just added some dots and dashes around a QR code to instrument it and allow for that greater distance and detection, as you mentioned, and a way to guide people in, and in order to make sure that they receive the structured information, all the information that exists on product packaging in a way that is made accessible using the device accessibility features. So I guess in essence, our mission is to help make access to information on product packaging a basic human right, and sort of full stop, really. Now that is a long journey. We are learning all the time. There's more to learn. And it is great that we're being able to pioneer this with yourself, with Envision, and thought leading brands like Unilever, who have really sort of taken the mantle to sort of drive change here. So yes, it's an exciting time, but it is, we're just starting, and we've got much to learn, and there's lots of things I'm sure to work on and improve to make this something very helpful for the community.
Awesome. That's great. And I know you sort of like put it very simply that we just added some dots and dashes at the end of QR code, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot more complicated than that, and it took a lot of effort to get to us, like a simple and elegant solution like that. Can you maybe talk to us, without going into too many technicalities, about some of the challenges that were there in like developing an accessible version of the QR code? Like what were the big obstacles or your challenges that you faced?
Well, I think what was quite nice is the challenge was well set in our conversations. It was indeed with Unilever and another great company called CEC, because they had understood that trying to address this issue was important. But they had some natural constraints. When you're a business as big as Unilever, and you're already rolling out QR on packaging, and in fact, artwork changes don't come around that often, and you've got this big machinery sort of, operationally, the idea of introducing a new code scheme becomes a real challenge, and something that then, it could be very easy for people to opt out of. So there's really only sort of kind of, I guess, left with two solutions. Is there a way to be able to just understand and scan the pack itself? Or is there a way that we can do something with these QR codes that are now kind of going out in the billions in terms of packs that will carry them? Now, the sort of I guess the machine learning sort of lookup solution of trying to understand every single artwork for every single pack in the world is actually quite a challenge, especially when you've got lots of artwork that looks very similar for packs that might be in slightly different sizes, and therefore have slightly different ingredients and information that you just can't get wrong. So our start point kind of was QR. And it just so happened that at the time, there's another part of our business where we're creating a product called Zapbox, which is the world's most affordable mass market mixed reality product. And as part of that investigation from a computer vision perspective, Simon and his team were trying to find a code scheme that could work when very small in the camera view, but under fast motion, because these were going to be used on the end of some controllers. And that's where this, what we call D3 pattern, dot dot dash is what it stands for, was something that we were kind of working on. And it just so happened that, this sort of request came in a couple of years ago now at the same time to go, could we help solve this problem? And it just dawned on us. And there's a wonderful picture I've got somewhere of a terrible drawing on a whiteboard of a squiggled QR code with some dots and dashes around it. I remember sitting in the room, someone go, well, maybe that would work. And indeed it does, and I think what's so nice is that those dots and dashes allow us to have that greater scanning distance. It allows us to understand where the QR code is in the camera frame, so we kind of can localize the area of the camera that we're focused on to decode the QR code, and that also means we can do that from greater distance than normal QR code scanning. So it's really a nice solution in terms of ease of detection. It's been really interesting. We've been fortunate enough to work a lot with the RNIB here in the UK, the Royal National Institute of Blind People, to help sort of validate and think about how we go about this, and those different use cases of what does it mean in a store environment, what it means in a home environment. And of course, ease of scanning is super important. But I think what was also became really evident was equally how important the structure of the information that you get having scanned that accessible QR code is. How we make sure that typically on packaging there's lots of content that is done with pictures or symbols, and those need to be translated, if you like, into words and sort of spoken words for opening new packaging formats, etc. And so thinking about how you structure that information and how that is delivered to make sure everything is there and covered was also a sort of an important part of the solution. But the computer vision, you're right, it wasn't quite, just put some dots and dashes around it. It does it builds on, I guess a decade of work from the team here in the R&D department. But it is something that's beautifully simple, and I think most importantly, it's practical for brands to implement. And that is, obviously our most important audience are the blind and partially sighted community. But at the same time, if we can't take large organizations like Unilever on that journey with us, then it's very hard to be able to create change at scale. And I think what's beautiful about the solution is, QR is being rolled out on more packaging. It will continue to be because of legislative change, because of GS1, because of all these things. And to say to brands and brand teams, well, why can't we just put some dots and dashes around that code scheme that you already know how to do from a manufacturing perspective? And by the way, you're going to make a real difference to hundreds of millions of people who have a daily pain point here. So that's quite a compelling thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So I think that is just one part of the challenge, right? Which is the technology part. You explained how technically it was like so difficult to get to this point, but I think you also did talk about the second part of the challenge, which is now the adoption and the implementation of this QR code across all of these big retail companies who actually will have to now do it. Can you talk to us a bit about what are the challenges on an adoption side? And can you probably also paint a picture of the scale at which we're talking about? Because how many SKUs, how many units of this are out there? Because I remember one of the early conversations when we were having, and you said that the solution had to be a black and white solution, because if you add even a tinge of a different color in this whole scheme, the cost per package increases by a lot. And when you multiply that a million, it becomes unaffordable very, very quickly. So I think it'll be interesting for us to understand what is the scale of the challenge that we're talking about in terms of how many units this like a QR code eventually needs to be on.
Yes.
And yeah, just
well,
would be curious to understand that.
The numbers are, I mean, they're beyond telephone numbers when you hear them. And it is fascinating. A company like Unilever, I don't know the total figure, but I think they have over 40,000 different SKUs, just within that single organization. It is, in the hundreds of billions of items that they sell. And they've been working on this idea of connected pack, putting QR on pack for a number of years. They are very innovative. They're sort of leading this field, and everybody else is also playing catch up. But it's already in the billions for them in terms of the number of products that have QR on it, and AQR is sort of coming now through as well. So let's say Persil in the UK, that was one of the first brands that took this on, and that's already in the millions and millions of packs. But we have artwork going out now across multiple brands that will begin to appear in 2024, and we will this scales so quickly. And when you think that's just Unilever, then you put that alongside other brands, and we've got some really exciting announcements coming up very soon. We can't talk about them yet, unfortunately. But it is something where there is momentum, which is great. But I do want to emphasize again that we definitely feel we're just at the start of understanding this, and there's still so much more work to do with the community and listening to the community and learning from the community. And this isn't suddenly like oh great, we've solved it. We're just trying to start a conversation with brands and with everyone to go, look, we are at a point in time where technology can really help to solve this one problem. It's one of many, but this one, and there'll be really one of the big challenges next is more around user experience, if you like, than actually the getting codes on pack. Because when you start going, well, great, what if you've got, as we hope, we get to a point where all packs have this on, and you open up your camera view and suddenly, we're announcing multiple codes, which we can do, but what's the right order of it? And how do we make sure that is, the user who can control that and decide, make those decisions, maybe based on, actually what products they're looking for, or maybe there are certain allergens or, things that they want to prioritize. So we're thinking about all of those things in terms of how we develop it. But yeah, I mean, I think, I can't tell you how exciting it is to have a leader like Unilever at that scale, take this challenge on and just show the way. And what's been great is to see that it is sort of scalable. It is easy operational. It is something that once you've already, putting QR codes on pack, this is not a heavy lift. And that's, I think, what drives momentum here. And understanding those two ends of the spectrum is critical. Our kind of our importance of focusing on who our end audience are, but also practically understanding how businesses work and trying to be the glue in between it. But none of that works unless we have amazing apps like Envision that then provides the broader service for the community. Because, like I said, this is one small thing amongst many that clearly your technology, your app can do.
Yeah. No, I think I like the way you put it. It is just the first step. It took a lot of effort, technology-wise, onboarding-wise, convincing, or also even so having someone like a Unilever on board and already starting to put it on this. By the way, I have this package of Persil and which has the QR code on it. So it's amazing to see that it's starting. Like a movement has begun. But like you said, like all of this humongous effort is still just the first step, and now would be like the next steps that would need to follow. And you did mention that there are other companies who are already in the pipeline who are going to start adopting this more and more. It's going to take its time. It is going to take its course, but I think it takes efforts like these to make these big changes. It won't happen overnight, and we have to start somewhere. And I'm super excited that we have already
Well, I think Karthik's dropped off.
Oh yes, yeah.
Maybe because it's a poor internet connectivity. All right.
I was enjoying what he was saying, and I heartily agree. And it's true that the way that brands go about this is sort of crawl, walk, run. Because and it tends to start with a champion inside the organization who deeply understands that they can play a role in having a great impact in terms of the way their brand behaves and what they can do from a single artwork change and products. And I think it is interesting that there's a point now that didn't really exist 5 years ago. There's so much happening around digital, connected, mobile-ready packaging that means the moment is now. And I think that's the opportunity. And Karthik's right. It is going to take some time, but the momentum is there. The conversations with brands is very engaged, very positive. And like I said, I think we've got some wonderful announcements to make, in this next period. But it is going to take time, and this it's one of those technologies that works when there's critical mass. So everyone will have to be slightly patient, but it's an exciting start.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate that, Casper. I think that was super your insightful and incredible learning, I think, for all of us here. And I think we're super excited to start this journey with you, and we'll see how far the dream goes. But appreciate you being on the webinar today with us. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. With that, let me segue back to our CTO, Karthik. If you can just walk us through what's brewing under the hood at Envision.
Sure. So thanks, firstly, Casper and Karthik, for all that cool stuff about accessible QR codes. I think that's what I'm going to be starting off with first. As well. So on the Envision app, we have a new update with, you have an accessible QR code reader that's built right into the app. Great work from the AppVision team in order to make that possible. The second, key thing that we have on the Envision app is a huge improvement to the document scanning and reading experience. So Earlier, you had to go ahead and pick the reading language that you explicitly want to read with the Envision app and so on. But we have gotten rid of that right now. And all you have to do is basically scan the document, and the app will figure out what's the best possible way to read the document, and then, give you the output. And we've also had huge improvements to the accuracy of the document reading experience as well. So if you have the Envision app, please update to the latest version on the App Store and the Play Store, and you'll be able to go ahead and try out these updates as well. The second key thing that I want to also talk about is we're going to be having Ask Envision work with many languages. So it's going to be multilingual here on out. So Ask Envision is the feature that is currently there within the scan text feature of the Envision glasses, where users can ask questions of the document that they just scanned. So earlier, people could ask only questions in English, but we have now expanded this to over 30 different languages. So you can go ahead and ask questions in pretty much any languages the glasses can speak. So, for example, it could be Hindi, could be Dutch, could be Spanish, and if you feel more comfortable in a language other than English and is available on the glasses, you can go ahead and use Ask Envision with that. And lastly, Ask Envision is also going to be coming for images with describe scene. This is also a huge leap forward. I think a lot of you all might have seen ChatGPT Vision, which is really popular, and some of you all who might be using Be My Eyes might also be familiar with the Be My AI feature. Envision is coming out with Ask Envision for images with describe scene, which is somewhat similar, where you can actually take pictures of things around you, and the glasses will give you a description of what's in there. But you can also now ask questions of the images that you just took with the glasses. We believe this kind of question answering technology is just in its early days, and it makes it's super exciting field for us, super exciting space for us to be in. And more importantly, we think this kind of technology makes perfect sense on a wearable, which is why we have built this right into the Envision glasses. Now, Ask Envision multiple languages and Ask Envision for describe scene. Both of these features are on a beta right now, and we are closely working with beta testers to improve the feature. So far, they've been loving it. I think a lot of the feedback that we have been getting has been extremely positive. And we hope that we can go ahead and continue to tweak this a little bit more and hopefully roll this out to you in the coming months. Lastly, I want to quickly touch upon the events. So this week, Vanessa, CMO, was at Site Village Southwest in England. And on October 10th, I will be speaking in 2 panels at the M-Enabling Summit in Washington, D.C. So if you're going to be there at the M-Enabling Summit in Washington, D.C., please let me know. I would love to go ahead and meet you and show you some of the cool stuff that I just told you about with the glasses. Apart from that, for those living in Ireland, please feel free to meet our colleagues attending the Sight and Sound Roadshow. So the dates are as follows. On the 9th, they're at Dublin. On the 10th, at Waterford. 11th, at Cork. And 12th, at Galway. So if you're in any of these cities in Ireland, you can definitely go ahead and meet my colleagues from Envision and Sight and Sound, and check out the Envision glasses as well. And before we move on, in November, we're super excited to announce that we're hosting the European edition of the Inclusive Innovations event on the 23rd of November, Thursday, in the Netherlands. So this is an event that is similar to the one that we hosted this year in San Francisco Lighthouse for the Blind, where we're bringing together people from across the blind and low vision community in Europe to showcase new technologies and to also share stories of putting accessibility into action at work, study, and at home. So at this event, we're also hosting workshops. There's also going to be a tech fair, and there's more information on our website, letsenvision.com/inin. And we'll share more details in our monthly newsletter and also the next month's webinar, which will be on the 26th of October at the same time, 6 p.m. CET. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot. So with that comes this the program part of the webinar. Now we'll be opening up the floor to any of the questions all of you might have. There are a few ways to ask a question. You can either use the Q&A feature that's built into Zoom, and you can type your like the questions there. We'll be both answering them alive, but also just you're typing out the answer if that's easier. You can also raise your hand. So there is a hand function within Zoom. If you raise your hand, we'll bring you onto the panel, and you can just ask us a question that you might have directly. All the panelists are also available. So if you have a question about AQR, for example, or any of the stuff that the Casper spoke about. Like he's also on, so you can also ask him a question. You can also but if you're on the YouTube, you can also just put your questions in the live your chat, and we have a team that's also taking a look at the questions there. So yeah, whichever is the easiest way for you to ask us a question, please do that. We'll do our best to answer as many on this call as possible. Let me start with some that's already in the Q&A. There's a question from like Jim Hamilton, who asked, could ChatGPT AI be hooked up with a describe scene feature in Envision classes? Jim, yes, that's actually something we are currently you're working on as we speak. It should be out as a beta in like a few weeks, and once we have been able to stabilize and polish it, do expect that to be coming to the classes very, very soon. And there is a question from like Michael, who asks, when will Envision be on the Blind Shell Classic 2? We are working very closely with the Blind Shell team. It is already available as a beta on the Blind Shell phones. We hope to just squash a few of the remaining bugs that we have over the coming weeks, and that should also be available soon. We will make an announcement as in one that becomes available. I have a raised hand here from like a Christy.
Yes.
Christy, if you could just unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Yes. So this is Christy from Highland, California, and I know you talked about the different glasses and the new glasses. Can you describe the difference between the new glasses and the ones that basically, I think I got mine in 2021?
Gotcha. So, Christy, like, there's no difference in the glasses itself. Like, there's no difference in the hardware. There's no difference in the software. Just the way that you buy them is different. So there is a new subscription edition. So this is for people who don't yet have a glasses, but also don't you have the means to pay upfront for the whole like, price of the glasses. So what the subscription edition allows them to do is it allows them to pay like a monthly subscription fee in order to own this glass as a rental. So they can still like have the glasses and they can pay for it in a monthly way, as opposed to you're paying for it all you're at once upfront.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christy. All right. Anybody else who has a questions, please raise your hands, and we'll be happy to bring you on. There's a question from Maria Rivera, who asks, how many editions of Envision glasses are there? So with the introduction of the new edition, we now have 4 editions. So we have the Read edition, the Home edition, the Professional edition, and the Subscription edition. The subscription edition is a pilot that we're only doing in the US. So it'll only be available in the US to begin with. So this is going to be a US only edition as of now. We will be exploring ways of bringing it to the rest of the world, but as of now, this is a pilot that we're doing only in the US. There is again a question from like Michael, who asks, what edition is the subscription edition? So Michael, it is its own edition, so it's not like comparable to to like Read your Home or Pro. But in terms of its functionality, it is the most similar to the Pro edition, because you do get all the updates, all the software updates for as long as like paying like the monthly subscriptions, right? So you do have unlimited term the warranty. So for as long as you have the glasses, you will continue to receive all the feature updates, which is the main difference between the Home and the Pro. So it is the closest to the Pro edition of the Envision glasses. I have like a raised hand from Marsha. Marsha, if you could unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify how much per month are the subscription glasses? Because it sounded like you said 550 a month, and I'm going, what?
Oh, sorry, it is 150 a month, so that's 150, 150 a
Oh,
month.
150.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I was just kind of, so I just kind of went, whoa, okay.
No, it's
thank you
it
very
is
much.
150 a month. Thank you,
Okay.
Marsha. Have a good day. I have a raised hand from like Pat. I'm going to bring on Pat. Pat, you can unmute yourself and ask us your question.
Yeah. So are these when you pay them 150, is this like say is the 150 going towards a final purchase of the glasses, or are you just paying 150, 150, 150 as long as you want to use them, or is it going towards the actual purchase of the glasses in the long run?
Gotcha. So it's not going towards a purchase, and I think that's the reason why it's a different from like an installment payment or a buy now you pay later kind of system. So it's not going towards a purchase. So that's why there isn't a commitment to pay the whole amount of 3,500, or to keep paying until like you pay the entire amount. So it is like a monthly subscription. So as long as you are paying the monthly subscription, you get to keep the glasses. If you want to cancel the subscription at any point, you can simply just return the glasses back to us, and your subscription your like will immediately stop. So it's not an installment, a payments towards like a bigger amount. It is it is a purely a subscription. I think the closest I think analogy would be to like a rental. So as long as you are paying the like subscription, you do have the glasses. But if you stop the subscription, then you can return the glasses back to us.
Well, and so you would, so it gives you the opportunity to try it out and see if it is for you or not.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you are somebody who needs a longer period to give it a try, so even with the Envision glasses like the Read, the Home, and the Pro edition, we do offer like a 30-day no question asked a refund your policy. So people have those like 30 days to give it a try. But often still people do find like the cost of it to be a bit prohibitive to even like to like give it a try. Or there are a lot of your customers who do want to like to give it a try for a longer period of time. There are people who want to give it a try for your 3 months or like 6 months, before they can be convinced that this is actually something of a value to them. So this is an option that is very flexible. It's very easy for you to start, and then it's also very easy for you to stop at any point. So it's a very easy way for you to experience exactly what is the kind of a service that you can experience with Envision. And after that, it's up to you if you decide to let's switch out of a subscription and to let go for a full purchase or not. But at least this is an easy way for you to give it a shot.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Pat. All right. More questions. There's a question about will will Envision app be released for HIMS Sense Player? I'm not really sure at this moment. I think Envision app does a work on that device because it's still Android. So the Android app does work. It might not be optimized for it. But yeah, that's an answer I don't have, but we don't have any ongoing conversations with the HIMS team. But yeah, it is a question that, but it is something that we're looking into. There's a question from Ijaz Khan who asks how to buy in India. Um, yeah, Ijaz, right now we don't have an authorized a distributor specifically in India, but you can make a purchase from the Envision website, and we do ship to India. So if are interested in making a purchase of these glasses, you can like, make a purchase of it from our website, let'senvision.com, and we do ship to India as well, and we do offer a custom onboarding of it. So you will still be able to experience a very good onboarding and all the service. But since we don't have a distributor in India, the best way to purchase is from the website. There is a question from Jim again, who says how to become a beta tweeter because he is excited to use the Chat GPT AI on the glasses. Jim, there is a form that we have with which you can apply to be a beta tester. If you just like write an email to support@let'senvision.com, they will be able to send you a link to that that form. Uh, but to put a disclaimer out that we are a bit selective about people we do bring on as a beta testers on the glasses because we do want it to be a limited group. So we do take all the applications and we do like select people to for them to be on the beta program. And we do that mainly because a lot of the beta updates that we do push out often they tend to be a bit unstable. They're very experimental. It can cause a few things to break, and that's always the purpose of the beta. So we are a bit more leaning towards people who are a bit more technically savvy and who are okay with things like breaking. But also we do actually want to bring in people who actually offer us really good feedback and are actually actively offering us feedback on the features and stuff that we're pushing out. So I think those are the two big criteria for us that we look for. But if that is something that you can highlight in your application, we'll definitely take it into consideration, and we'll then just send you instructions on how you can join the beta the program of the Envision glasses. There is a question that says, does renting Envision glasses get you any sort of a discount with IRA? As of now, there is no discount process in place like with IRA. So no, there will not be any additional discount that will be offered on the subscription edition at the moment. That is most of the question. Let me check if there are more raised hands. All right. Let me just quickly check on YouTube and see if there are any questions coming through there. There's a lot of activity on YouTube, so that's always good to see. Yeah, I think it's mostly been answered by the people who are managing the team in the comments. So very happy to see that. I think we have covered like a big chunk of the topics that we were really wanted to speak about. There are some things that we'll probably be able to address if you do send out an email to us at like a later point. But I think right now we do need to bring this part of the webinar to a close. We are just a minute over the hour. So I do appreciate all of you for attending this webinar, and I hope you are excited about these two big announcements that we made today: a new subscription editions of the Envision glasses and a new accessible QR code feature, which we are pioneering with the team at Zappa. Thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. There's a lot more stuff that's in the pipeline, And I'm super excited about the webinars that's going to happen in the next month as well in October. But stay tuned for that. But also stay tuned to all of our socials, because we will be announcing a lot of exciting stuff just in the coming weeks. With that, I wish you all a very, very good day. I hope you all stay safe and stay well. And I will see all of you in another webinar in a month's time. Thank you so much.